Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 157 of the Hoots podcast. After dark edition. I'm a little chuckling right now because you guys just heard the debut of the Thoughts of Dericho, and I don't even know what to say right now after listening to that nonsense we just listened to. No, just kidding though. Shout out to Brother Carter for making that. This new feature that we're going to be airing throughout the weeks of the podcast. It may not be every single week, but Derek said he's going to send these clips sporadically, and we'll see where it goes from there. But welcome to the program, everybody. My name is Joshie. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. I am alongside the one and only Adam Daley. What's going on, my brother?
Josh, what's going on? I have a lot to say about Derek's little intro, but we're going to save that until after the little big surprise here at the beginning of the show. So just pass it back over to you.
So for those who are wondering why we're releasing the podcast so late today, we're very busy dudes. Not only people in the rest of the world are busy, us podcasters are busy too. And usually when it comes to this podcast, everybody loves their favorite segment through the eyes of a 9-year-old towards the end of the show. But hey, folks, we got a surprise. She's here in the beginning of the show. Let's welcome Miss AJ through the eyes of a 9-year-old. How's it going, AJ?
It's going good, and I'm excited to be doing it early.
You would probably prefer this, right? Just get your catchphrase out, and then everybody just forgets about it, right?
I don't know. I like being more towards the end, but I like tonight being at the beginning. It just feels special.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead,
already hamming it up.
Any questions? Okay, bye-bye. No, I'm just joking.
Bye-bye. Before we get to AJ's thoughts from the pay-per-view this past Sunday, just really some quick business things out of the way. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Hoots Podcast and on Adam Daley 13 as well. Brother, the floor is yours, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So AJ, you had some things real quick that you wanted to talk about from wrestling this week, but talk to us about Money in the Bank first.
I'm going to take questions first. So if there's any questions about anything, then you can ask me, but you can't ask me while I'm going through my thoughts.
It's kind of like Scott Hall taking a survey from the crowd back in the day.
She just got a Scott Steiner promo. That's what she just did. But all right. So Josh, any questions? Good sir.
Okay. AJ, how you feel about Becky no longer being Becky Two Belts?
I feel like I don't like it, but I do feel like maybe she will be Becky Two Belts because I think she's going to get the new title, which we will talk about here in a minute after everybody gets their questions out of the way.
All right. Another question. What was like your favorite spot in any of the ladder matches that happened on Sunday?
One of my favorites was Brock Lesnar just coming out and beating up everybody. Like here's how you know it's definitely staged. Whenever Brock Lesnar's music hit, Mustafa Ali could have just grabbed it. Right? He didn't have to just pause and be like, "What?"
Way to just break kayfabe, just throwing the whole fourth wall.
He could have just go ahead and grabbed it, and then he would have run before Brock Lesnar could have even gotten into the ring.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you be frozen if you saw this behemoth running at you? Yeah,
no.
I would.
I would have grabbed it and ran away.
Doo-doo in my pants. Are you kidding me?
Maybe I would pee my pants, but I would just go ahead and grab it then run away.
Ladies and gentlemen, kayfabe is gone before she's in high school.
That's well gone for a long time. All right, so were you happy with the Money in the Bank winners though?
Yes, I was.
So everybody, there's a lot of people that aren't happy. I'm suggesting. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been on social media to see, but I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, no one that I've ever wanted to win the Money in the Bank has ever won the Money in the Bank, so it's not a problem.
So you knew what I was gonna ask before I even asked the question. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, but I guess the better question then is, do you think it's gonna be fun that he has it now, or is it gonna get or people are gonna forget about it?
People are gonna forget about it, but I know I ain't.
isn't that the point of Money in the Bank though? So that way it's not predictable.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Well, I'm always thinking in every single match, like not in the women's matches, obviously, but almost in every single match. Oh wait, is Brock gonna cash in? Oh wait, is Brock gonna cash in? I always think that. So
During women's matches?
no, I said not.
Okay, I thought you got your words mixed up there. That's why I had to check you for a second. Okay.
Well, I have gotten my words mixed up a lot.
Well, we've been up since 5 a.m.
Well, yes, I've been up since 5 a.m.
Field trip and weird science and explosions and fire. It was weird.
Lots of fires. I'm surprised I didn't get to make my own fire.
So
I wanted to set the entire building on fire.
That sounds
I'm
good to know.
joking, guys. I'm joking.
frightening. So all right, so back on topic though. I know you want to talk about the 24/7 title.
Yes.
Okay. Floor is yours.
Okay, so the 24/7 title. With my dad taking information of me and me watching old clips from the Attitude Era, as they call it, I do know that the 24/7 title is basically the hardcore title, just not called hardcore, and not tore up to shreds and then put back together.
I mean,
it was.
do you think? What do you think about it? I mean, do you like the idea, or do you?
I like the idea. I do like that men can go against women and women can go against men. Finally, like just little roll-ups and pins and maybe some super kicks here and there, and it works. Yeah.
Oh, you're mentioning Carmella's moveset. Never mind.
Wow.
AJ, do you think you could be a 24/7 champion?
Well, yeah, it would be easy. It would be so easy. But that would only be that for like 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden someone would roll me up and be like, yeah! Then they would only get 5 seconds, and then someone else would be like, yeah!
Braun Strowman was tag champs with a little kid.
I know that.
So, I mean, I guess anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And, well, at the same time, the little kid was also a breast kid, so.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have any connections like that.
That's
and then also, wait, now I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Come on, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Okay, just keep going then.
Anything else for because we're limited because we didn't really get to see, she really didn't get to see like SmackDown and most of Raw this week. So,
I know we hit a lot on the Yowie Wowie mask last week. We hit on that,
right? And there was, and she didn't get to see the segment this week. Plus, there was, and that was different anyway. But yeah, because you got to see okay. So to be fair, we got a late start to Raw and realized, and this is factual. Got a late start to Raw, realized, oh no, we forgot to watch Being the Elite. Went and watched Being the Elite, and then went back and really watched like the first segment of Raw, and she fell asleep. So
I'm sorry, I was tired. And I didn't get my ice cream like I was supposed to that night.
You sound really angry.
Because I still haven't had my ice cream yet. Still.
I don't know why that's something. You probably did something to not warrant ice cream or something. I don't know why you're complaining on a podcast. Now you do sound like every other mark on here.
I'm sorry.
No, the reason why I brought that up though was, and I know this, take it for what it's worth, guys. And it's because of the DVR thing, but I'm not trying to put a preference to it because obviously we're looking at one that's 20 minutes versus one that I'm trying to power through and see how I can put 3 hours down to like, an hour and a half. But Being the Elite kind of was kind of more important. It was like it took precedence. And I don't know if maybe it was just a build up because Double or Nothing's coming this weekend or what it was. But yeah, we just made sure to watch that first.
All right, I got 2 more questions before AJ buries us like she does every single week.
Yeah.
Every single week, guys.
All right.
I never do it.
Right. First question though. How excited are you to see Michael Nakazawa finally wrestle this weekend?
We're not going to see him, okay?
He's gonna be there.
He's like John Cena. You're never going to see him.
Is he gonna be the wild card?
He's there, but he's not going.
Is he the Joker? Is he the? That's what I mean. Is he the wild card?
Yeah. What if he is? I don't know.
That battle royal kind of confuses me. I'm not gonna lie.
So wait, I gotta go online to watch the Battle Royal, right? And then we gotta, and than
Yeah.
through pay-per-view. And listen, the $60 rant last week, not that it shouldn't seem like $10 makes a difference. It was actually only it was $50, like $49.95 or something like that. I know this sounds crazy, but I don't feel as bad spending 50 versus 60. I know that seems like a $10 difference. Well, why should that matter? It's just, to me, I don't know. It's a little bit more digestible. You know what I mean? Not,
Right.
and I'm not still saying that I could do this on a monthly basis for a different promotion. That's why I think they would need some sort of streaming service if they wanted to do monthly pay-per-views. But, you know, I'll admit 50 is a little more manageable than the initial 60 that I thought it was.
All right, before we get your father's thoughts on the debut of the Thoughts of Dericho, what was your thoughts on the Thoughts of Dericho?
What?
What were your thoughts about the Thoughts of Dericho?
My thoughts about the Thoughts of Dericho was that they were just thoughts, and I did not like the music, and it was only...
How did the music make you feel?
It was only 10 seconds, so I didn't really like the clip because it was only 10 seconds, okay?
It's a couple minutes, but I mean, how did the music make you feel, though?
The music made me feel like someone just died. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wait, this is live, right?
yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
Super
kids. I'm so sorry, kids.
I don't think any kids are listening.
They probably are. You don't know that.
All right, Miss AJ, let everybody know your favorite catchphrase.
Okay, well, obviously not today, but every other day of the week, always skip to the end. Always.
Always.
Even though I'm not at the end right now, I will be next week, and I promise you that. Now, bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
There we go. And then go ahead, Josh. Let me mute this up for a sec, then I'll be right back.
All right. How about that, folks? You get through the eyes of a 9-year-old at the beginning of the podcast this week. Pretty cool, right? Nice little late surprise. We are recording this live tonight here on YouTube. It's literally like 9 o'clock my time here in Chicago, which makes it 10 o'clock out there in the Arkham Asylum out there in the East Coast. We're also going to get our thoughts on the pay-per-view as well, not just AJ's, but also get our thoughts on Money in the Bank, make our predictions for Double or Nothing, which is coming up this Saturday. I'm excited for that. Also, talk about Raw and SmackDown this week, our thoughts on the 24/7 championship, and just a lot of other shenanigans. So
you're going to hear me eat a salad here pretty soon live on a podcast, which I know is the greatest thing to do. But on the real, we were super running hard. So if I sound drained, I apologize, guys. It's like, what are we taping this now? It's like 10 o'clock. Been running since 5 in the morning, doing like field trip type stuff and play date type stuff and running here, running there. You know, parents out there know what I'm talking about.
While you have the salad there,
skip a week, and yet here I am for you, the people.
Really quick, bro, what was your thoughts on the Thoughts of Dericho?
Okay, well, hold on. Let me get to the list of Daley then. Let's see. Okay, when did Derek start doing ASMR gigs? Or because those are those videos, right? Those ASMR things.
Yeah.
Can we please stop using broken dialect? Can we just stop, please? It's been years. Who the hell does he think he is, getting his random cameo segment via satellite, like he's The Rock or something? You know what I mean? That basically shows you what the hell kind of ego that dude has. Also, and it's funny that what my daughter just said, because I said his music sounds like something a serial killer or child molester plays while driving in a car. And Derek, please don't ever raise your voice again. You sounded like you were having your first backdoor experience with your physician. It's horrifying, I know. When you get of a certain age, it has to be done. There is a John Mulaney skit about it. I encourage you to listen to it because it's something like that. But that's kind of what I took out of it. No, I don't necessarily fully agree that Bayley was I think they tried to make Bayley the Kid Z on, the kid obviously kid friendly favorite coming up, but I don't know if she ever actually clicked with the kids, and that was the problem. Not that they just needed it. Worked at NXT, but it did not work on the main roster. So I would disagree with him there. And seriously, who the hell drops in a segment that can't be debated upon? The hell, only a Canadian would do that. I shouldn't say that. Canadians are great people, except for Derek. But
there's an expression in the wrestling business, brutal Bob Evans.
yeah, no, but yeah, so that's what no, but everything else we're going to talk about in the show. I agree with the Brock stuff. We'll get to that. Although Derek, oh God, for somebody that's into music, we need to get you to voice classes. We'll talk. I know people. But yeah, that's my thoughts of Dericho. Can we not get another like how many gimmicks are we going to steal in it like in the beginning, like 5 minutes of it in one segment, Derek? Seriously. Come on, man. You're better than that. I know a lot of music is like remixed now and just rehashed old beats and like everything, and like it's just nothing is new anymore. Although Lord is great as Billie Eilish, she kills it as Billie Eilish. But
the only reason I'm shaking my head because there's a certain somebody that looks familiar to the situation that has a show on the USA Network that also has a Billie Eilish song as a theme song, and I'm like,
that was the remix they used for Takeover.
Yes, I forgot which one it was. Was it the last one or the one before? Was it WrestleMania?
It was the WrestleMania one.
Yep. Why not? It's catchy for like 10 seconds, and like I don't want to listen to the rest of it.
I've had to hear that song since like last summer so much, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, you're kidding. All right, let me defend Derek in this one essence. When it comes to the broken dialect, yes, Matt has been using it for years, and it's something we've all had a little bond over and stuff. But I'll give him this excuse with the debut of the 24/7 championship. Matt was hiding in the parking lot this week. It's also a promo I'm going to be airing towards the end of the podcast this week. Everybody's trying to scheme up with their ways to roll up R-Truth and become the champion, right? But he's getting interviewed. Like the backstage guys are interviewing him while he's sitting in the parking lot. And the interview asks Matt, "Hey, how would Matt Hardy feel about becoming the 24/7 champion?" Matt's like, "That's a great question. I think it would be a wonderful thing." And then he goes into the broken dialect, and he's like, "You're not helping, you insignificant ant."
Don't enable this dude, man. It's. I feel like he's the South Park character where like the Canadians talk with the floppy heads, and I don't want to stereotype him as a Canadian because I like Canadians. Just not Derek. No.
There's another gimmick on another podcast. Is when you if anybody listens to the Keep It 100 podcast with Conan, Disco Inferno has his own list. So basically, anybody that has heat with Disco Inferno, he puts them on his list. And they have this thing where they have a Canadian contingent of Don Callis, Chris Jericho. Disco Inferno put Chris's dad on the list. There's a North Carolina region with Shane Helms and the entire Hardy family. It's one funny and good things that ever came out of Disco Inferno's mouth. I actually get a kick out of that segment, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Does he put like the 167% of women that reject him on the list?
That's a good question. Okay. He still works at Sapphires in Vegas.
I'm sure. Well, because of course he would. How else? Got to see it somehow.
Hey, he's starting a rivalry with Tessa Blanchard on Impact. In case anybody hasn't been watching the shows recently, there's your Impact report.
He legit still works.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh God, I give Tessa credit for getting in the ring with him, but
I never thought in 2009. I never thought in 2019 I had to transcribe Disco Inferno matches.
You know what though? We want intergender stuff, and Tessa is the chick to do it. She's tough.
She's awesome.
And you know what? And let's give the devil credit where credit is due. I mean, he plays up the misogyny so well. I mean, this is the part he in a way it's like an Andy Kaufman type of deal. If it's been a shtick all along, I mean, this here's where the payoff starts to come in. And really, that's all it is a shtick. And if it isn't, he's just an asshole. So either way, it's kind of it is right. What it is.
I agree. Let's talk about a classy gentleman. Let's talk about the Reverend Corey Graves. I want to give a shout out to
He's
him
the
because
best.
he had me rolling on SmackDown Live this week. You guys are gonna notice we're gonna be going in a lot of different directions tonight. We don't usually go by a script or a format, or whatever. Like, yeah, we have our particular segments here and there, but it's not actual format. So we're like the old baseball expression. We're spraying through all fields tonight on this show. So on SmackDown this week, when everybody was chasing after our Truth put Carmella on his back, and they were running out of the Dunkin' Donuts Center and everything. And Saxon's like, "Oh, you could just put Carmella down." And Graves is like, "Of course you would say that, you sissy." And then they're panning to the announce table because they're promoting the Super Showdown show. Tom Phillips is trying his best not to laugh. Grace is just dying laughing. And you see Byron Saxton with the despondent look on his face. It's one of the funniest things with commentary banter that I've seen in a while. I loved it. Grace was dying laughing during that entire segment.
But then he was having a lot of fun on SmackDown, because what I got out of SmackDown was you and I hope other people caught this, but you brilliant bastard, you, Corey Graves, to be able to fit in an Al Bundy and Uncle Rico reference in the same sequence. You're genius. I know only certain people caught it. I used to also be able to throw a football over them mountains, a quarter mile, in fact. But
Really?
but
Spiral or no?
Let's yeah. I'd probably throw a football 10 yards. Give me a break. Baseball players couldn't throw footballs. Unless you were Bo Jackson, then you could just do everything in the world. But anyway, getting back to this stuff. No, listen, Graves is always on point. So yeah, I mean, that should always be a staple of the show. Bam, done.
Before we know it, we're gonna get into football conversation. Not this week, but we got OTAs going on and all the
You're
sports.
dying to get into football. Like, this is you're really, I can tell, I got to call you out on this one. You've been dying more to talk about football this year. And it's just, you're getting that fever to where, like, when the season goes south, you're just going to be like, I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
No,
you're starting too early. You need a football break. You need a breather. I'm telling you.
You know what I need a break from? I need a break from people who are so sensitive over every little thing that happens in the world of professional wrestling. That's what I need. I need a break from social media.
Yeah.
I need a break for people who talk out of both sides of their mouth each week. That's what I need a break from.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't watch football in the off season, because that's all of it is. It's exactly what you just.
I am not ashamed to admit that I am a football junkie, but I will say this though: I will not be that fan that be like, "Oh, because my team's in the playoffs, I'm going to stop watching the rest of the year." I do not do that. I had never done that, even when the Bears were 4-12 a couple years ago, or 3-13. I'm a football junkie. It's my favorite sport. Sometimes I'll be a casual fan of basketball or baseball, but football's my thing. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm watching press conferences and stuff from the Bears at OTAs. It's like late May and nothing else really matters right now. I'm a football junkie. It is what it is. I guess it's my thing outside of wrestling that I really enjoy besides music.
And right now, somewhere, Vince McMahon's going, God damn it, that's exactly why we're bringing the XFL back. They're football junkies. They're out there. I'm telling you, they're out there, and we're getting them.
Oh, God. One thing on a sports-related tip, everybody thinks that, like, WWE is a dumpster fire. If you want to look at a dumpster fire that has an established brand, look at the Los Angeles Lakers right now. Holy shit, man.
Wow, what happened with the Lakers? What'd I miss?
So Magic Johnson was brought in as a president / front office guy last season for the Lakers.
Okay.
And basically he made out the deal with the Buss family that he has other businesses outside the Lakers that he's also going to pay attention to. So it wasn't going to be a full-time thing. But the general manager of the Lakers decided to talk to other people around the league and say that Magic was lazy. He doesn't spend enough time in the office, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. The team sucks ass, even though they brought in LeBron James last year and everybody thought they were going to be in the finals this year. They didn't even make the playoffs.
I didn't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
So this all complete anarchy, and the whole thing with the NBA now is that the only way you can be a good team is if you build super teams, right? And you got to bring in big free agents. So Magic Johnson steps down towards the end of the season this year, right? And then he decides the day they announced their new signing of their new head coach Frank Vogel to go on First Take with Stephen A. and air out the dirty laundry with the Lakers. And it's a whole bunch of malarkey. I talked about it on my sports talk show that I do in the mornings on Thursday. It's just a lot of nonsense. I've seen a lot of bad ownership and a lot of bad organizations do stupid stuff. This hits the list. You guys can't handle yourself as professionals. You need to go on the Hot Take show to reveal all your dirty laundry. Come on, man. That's brutal.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really even have a response to that. I don't know because I guess I don't care. I don't know. I don't know how to respond because I'm so no. It's just weird because I'm so indifferent on the Lakers and not the NBA per se, but kind of the NBA and just really like just I don't say sports in general, but I don't know. I'll admit I'm somewhat jaded with a lot of sports and probably somewhat the NFL too. But I mean, I do watch every Raider game. That's one thing. It doesn't matter. But I mean, but I don't. For me, I don't think it's anything that. I guess it's probably I just don't give a shit. And you know what I mean? I hate to say it that way, but it's like it doesn't affect me or my life because I don't. I don't know. I mean, I guess why do it? But publicity. Right? Anything. So I never would have heard about it unless you would have brought it up, right? So that's why. So people talk about it. And that's what they want is people just want to talk. It's today's world, man. I deal with it every day. Having stuff flip. Because that's what today's world that's today's world, man. Everyone lives in their own bubble. So I guess in some worlds that's acceptable, and maybe in some it's not. I don't know what the right answer for the Lakers and LeBron and the Buss family and like all that kind of stuff is, or and all kinds of dirty laundry and all that. But I mean, it's never good publicity. I don't want to say, let's not make it. But in a way, it's easy publicity for both sides because if they finger point, then neither are really hurt because another organization is going to pick up LeBron. Everybody still wants to be a Los Angeles Laker. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just I'm so numb to any drama with the Lakers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or any team that's like so just shoved down your throats all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just to me, it's just part of the circus.
Speaking of the circus, this is a good segue here because we gotta get into Double or Nothing and stuff. So, the big bugaboo on Twitter this week, non-WWE related, was an interview that Brandi Rhodes did to promote AEW. I didn't engage in the dialogue because I thought it was silly in the first place, but hey, Twitter's gonna be Twitter, right? So here's the thing. She made the statement that if you're not satisfied towards the end of Double or Nothing this Sunday, you're not a real wrestling fan. And that got some people's panties up in their drawer. Some people got really uptight over that. Who are you to say how are you supposed to feel this? Oh, you're not a real wrestling fan if you don't like this or blah 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 blah. There was I saw a tweet that somebody called AEW pretentious championship wrestling. They're ripping they all this skew ball all over that comment. If you don't enjoy Double or Nothing this Sunday, you're not a real wrestling fan. I don't subscribe to that theory. I think that's kind of dumb in my point of view, but like I said a couple seconds ago, Twitter is going to be Twitter. So that was the big boo blah blah this week on.
Well, I mean, so what you're saying is, if you're putting a product out there, you're not supposed to say that. Like, if you build a car, right? You're not going to say, "Hey, listen, this is every car lover's dream." You're not supposed to have confidence in your own product. Is what you, so we're knocking somebody for having confidence in a product that they're invested in is going to please wrestling fans. How dare somebody have confidence? How dare somebody?
I think we lost Adam. I'm not sure. His audio went out really quick. Let's see what's going on here. yeah, it's just odd. Like I wouldn't expect that to happen like that. It's just especially the week of the pay-per-view. That's what the press is for this pay-per-view. Oh, if you're not enjoyed by Double or Nothing, you're not a real wrestling fan. Adam, are you back? And exit out really quick and see if you can come back in. Same link on Facebook, I think. I don't know. It's weird. We're getting some audio issues right now. Let's see Adam come back in a couple seconds. Yeah, so we got Double or Nothing coming up this Saturday live on pay-per-view for $60. Again, $60 for the first AEW pay-per-view ever.
Can you hear me?
All right, you're back.
You can hear me. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. What was the last thing you heard me say?
I didn't hear. It cut off once you started talking.
Okay, so here's my thing with if people have, I'll do the rant very quickly then.
Yeah.
So if you have a problem with what Brandi Rhodes said, so because something that she's invested in, a company she's invested in, something that she feels confident in, something she's trying to sell, and she's going to say that pro wrestling fans are going to love this. So what you're saying is, and just hear me out on this, close your eyes, just imagine it. Imagine the creepy Derek Predator voice right now.
Oh God!
And the music playing in the background. Or I'll go get my coffee cup and start stirring the spoon, like in Get Out, you know. But just think for a second. So, like, say you're building a car, right? And you're finally done with this car because you're passionate about cars, and you got other people that were really passionate about cars to help build this car, right? Are you going to go out there and say, hey, you know what? This car, it finally comes out this weekend, and I promise you it's going to be average. No, you're going to say this is going to guarantee to please any professional wrestling fan. It's the art of salesmanship. It's confidence in your own product. It's a little bit of pride in what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. How is that any different than anything that people that talk into these stupid podcasting microphones like I'm doing right now? We do the same thing. Everybody does that. So where is their fault in that? Like, why? It's not pretentious. You know what I mean? It's not. Then you're saying that anything, any kind of sales anywhere, any advertisement, any billboard, everything's pretentious. Then is what you're saying, right? Or am I missing that on this?
Well, I think they said pretentious because the name of the company is called All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, but you know. But at the same time, that was if people watched, you know, Being the Elite and different things like that, that wasn't, you know, they came to an agreement on that name. There was a bunch of other ideas that were tossed out there, but they kind of wanted to incorporate elements of All In and Being the Elite, and that's how they came up with All Elite Wrestling. And again, what's the problem with that? You know what I mean? Like, right. How is that any different than WWF calling the WWF championship is the worldwide standard? Meanwhile, WCW had the world championship, which was, you know, however many. I think people now are just starting to, they're overly dissecting things way too much. And to seriously to take a shot at, like, if that was this week's, like, it must have been a slow news week in the wrestling world if that was like this week's, like, you know, big topic, because somebody was, you know, it goes back to all the false, like all the false and phony anger about, like, when Jericho had his cruise, and people were all upset because how dare he say there was going to be you know, hot chicks in bikinis on there. Really? You don't think that's what 95% of men that go on cruises and or go to Miami or go to California, that, like, that's, give me a break. You know what I mean? Look at commercials on TV. These are the same people that would book a cruise with beaches or with whomever, that their entire commercial is all women in, like, the smallest bikinis ever. You see what I'm saying? Like, again, people talking out of both sides of their mouth. So, you know, it's infuriating in a way that, like, that and it is, and I don't want to say infuriating because that makes it sound like, you know, it's comical more than anything, because again, everybody does it in their own way, because you have to with your work. I mean, it is, no matter where you work or no matter what your career is, you're either promoting yourself or you're promoting your business or you're promoting the company that you're working for. And that's exactly what she was doing. Period. That's it.
You're not gonna get argued for me. Like
I don't get it's
I just thought the premise of the whole debate was just stupid in general.
It is. It sounds completely asinine to me that could even be debatable. Like, you sell your product. This is why none of you that, like, anybody that thinks that was like, how dare she? This is why none of you are actually in professional wrestling or bookers or actual sales or have careers or people investing money in you or anything like that. That's why you're probably, and I rarely take shots like this, but if you thought that like she was being like, if that was like her, how dare they, because they think they're so much better, then that's why you are where you're at in life and still living in your mother's basement and not, you know what I mean? That's just the art of sales, man. That's just sales 101. You're not going to say, hey, we're going to put out a C+ product. No, you always, I mean, you want people to get excited about it. Like, oh, I could rant all night about this, but whatever.
Right.
Transition.
There's just a lot of preconceived notions that just come with wrestling in general these days, and I get annoyed by it.
What kills me, Josh, and what kills me is too, and let me know your thoughts on this. If they would have went out there and said, you know what, just give us a chance, you know, just tune in this Saturday and just give us a chance, you know, we promise you won't be disappointed, people would go nuts like, oh, why are you underselling it? Oh no, they don't have faith in their own product. Oh no, well just they're saying just give us a chance, like, you know what I mean? They would flip it in other ways so that it would be there'd be a negative connotation on it. Everybody wants everything to be said and or read and or whatever in a negative connotation, and it's really annoying. Brandi, you do you. That's why you're a boss, and keep doing you. And that's why you're also in muscle and fitness, and none of us that are listening to this will ever be in muscle and fitness. None of us ever in a million years.
Let's make our predictions really quick for the top matches for Double or Nothing this Saturday, really quick, brother.
Jay would be all right.
I wasn't gonna do the broken thing. I was just saying, brother.
Well, yeah, Jay would just be good. Joseph isn't Joseph or Jack or Jay. Jay, it's good.
Jimmy.
Jay.
All right. First one here, we got so-called uncensored Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky against the Strong Hearts. These are the Oriental Wrestling Experience guys. Shima, T-Hawk, and L. Lindemann. This is a 6-man tag match. I've never seen these guys wrestle before, so it's going to be this match is going to keep me on my toes because a lot of these 6-man tag team matches, especially on the indies, is very fast paced. It's kind of hard to transcribe because the referees are not really paying attention to who's the legal guy. They're doing double teams, in and out tags, all this extra shit, speed, high spots. It's just hard. So this one's gonna be a hard match to transcribe, but I'm excited for it. I'll go with so-called uncensored or the OWE. I wouldn't be surprised if the OWE guys win too, though, if they want to highlight them. But this is a pretty cool match. This is a pretty big deal for a lot of these performers that are on this pay-per-view. Whether they win or lose doesn't really matter on Saturday. But, well, I shouldn't say that because one of the marketing things for their company is that wins and losses match. So I guess it does matter. Who knows? Unless they're having trios championships on AEW that we don't know about yet. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I got so-called uncensored in this match. Sorry for rambling on, guys.
No, like I don't ramble enough on here. This is one that is fun because it's, again, I have not seen the other trio wrestle, and I do not know their names. I know they were from China, though, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because I knew they were over there for the tour, you know, over in China. So, I don't want to. This is the type of match though that where these types of pay-per-views are fun because exactly what you said about quick tags, high spots, quick spots, like a quick in and out. I mean, these are the 6-man tag matches that really do start to captivate you, whether or not you were looking forward to this or not. Like, this would be a great match to start the show with, or maybe after a first, like, intermission style kind of deal, or, you know, however, you know, because it could really get a crowd back into it, you know, get back into it, especially towards the end when usually all hell breaks loose. That being said, I have to go with my boys, SCU. They loved Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh got to love them back. That's all. And they were going through a tough time though, so they probably hate Pittsburgh now because it's also the worst town I've ever been in. But
Um, the worst town I've ever been in is Cleveland, Ohio, but we're gonna leave it at that.
Actually, I like Cleveland. Let's have a good time up there.
We get rarities these days, but
I guess, yeah.
all right. Three-way match. This one's not for AEW Women's Championship. They haven't announced that yet, but this is a standard triple threat match. The very talented and beautiful Britt Baker against Nyla Rose and Kylie Ray. Triple threat match here. Britt Baker was part of the four-way match that happened at All In last year, if I'm correct about that. Britt Baker looks to be like the face of the women's division right now, so we'll see what goes down there. But this should be a fun match. I'm gonna go with Kylie Ray in this one, though.
I would say it's probably going to be between Britt and Kylie Ray. I'm going to keep the Pittsburgh theme here. I'm going to go with Britt Baker. You know, I agree. You know, she was their first female, women's signing. Mm-hmm. She was it All In. I think it would almost make sense to start to make her the face of the division on AEW. Easily marketable, like super charismatic, great in the ring, knows what she's doing, smart as hell. So, there's no reason not to kind of build a division around her with other talented women that they're already bringing in. So, I think you're right, though. We see a spinoff feud probably between Kylie Ray and Britt Baker after this. But I have to stick with Pittsburgh. I'm going overly Pittsburgh today. I'm going to go with Britt Baker. Britt Baker for the win.
What's your surprises for this Saturday's pay-per-view and why? Like, what do you think will be the surprise?
Doing this part of it because this is where it's just the fanish, markish part. Even though I love doing it, but this is where I like. It's like where you like doing it like behind closed doors so that nobody really knows like what you know.
Right.
All right. So, are you asking me who I hope shows up? Is that what you're trying to get out of me?
Yeah. What's your fantasy booking scenario for surprises or run-ins on Saturday?
Man, I mean, there's two people that I would really, really, really like to show up. And one is Jon Moxley. I don't know if he's signed anywhere. I'm not a dirt sheet guy. Maybe you would know anything else. Have you seen anything, heard anything? No.
Not dirt sheet guy.
He's kind of a Vegas type of guy anyway, or at least that's how they like pegged him and or whatever. Be a good city to bring him in on. It would be your first pay-per-view. That's a huge name to bring in. I would love to see Moxley. Is Jimmy Havoc wrestling on this pay-per-view at all?
Jimmy Havoc is on the Battle Royal.
Okay, so I wouldn't want to waste it in the Battle Royal. Not that it's a waste, but you guys know what I mean. Like we want him on the actual show. It would be interesting to. In a way, you almost, even though we want a clean finish, you would want somebody to come in and interrupt the Jericho and Omega match because that is for the AEW championship, correct?
No.
So there is no championship at all.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So then screw it then. So yeah, just have somebody come in and interfere with that match because that's probably the main event, right?
Yes.
I'm at least gonna, okay. Mm-hmm. Just because you want to make a name for yourself, and I think that's where you really could have him, where you could have Jon Moxley come in. Dude, I want to see Marty show up, and that's where my heart is right now is seeing Marty show up and like where they could fit him in, like as the true villain. Like, does he come in and maybe screw over Hangman Page, or does he screw over? Does something happen in the Young Bucks match where he I don't know. There's just somewhere. How could they bring him in, but bring him in as a villain, doing something dastardly? You know what I mean? I think with him still being tied up with Ring of Honor and New Japan, I don't know. I don't think that's plausible right now. And I think we can all stop with the CM Punk pipe dream. So let's just get that out there, address the elephant in the room, and just stop it and move on. But I will admit I would like to see a surprise on the women's division side. I think that would be a fun little it would be a fun little addition to the show, and it would show kind of that. They mean not that they don't mean business with the women's division because they've been spending time. They've absolutely been spending time with them. Just showing up at shows, interrupting the shows like WrestleMania weekend, different things that they did that way. But I wouldn't mind seeing like a debut from another woman too.
Right. For me, surprises wise, I'm on the same language with you. I only have one other addition, though. That would be Bad News Barrett.
Oh man, yeah, I would go nuts. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about
I got some bad news, man.
And I would assume he probably wouldn't be able to wrestle under that title then either.
No, he could be Stu Bennett. Like if it's
Stu Bennett, yeah, he could be Stu Bennett. Correct.
There's 4 slots left in the Battle Royal. I would like to see him be one of the guys that comes in. I mean, if you can have Billy Gunn in the Battle Royal, you can have Bad News Barrett in there.
True. I'm trying to think of some like old school people that have beef with WWE that would do it just out of spite.
Well, originally some people thought it would be RVD, but he signed with Impact. I've seen a lot of complaints about this card is that it's not like All In where you had the representation from Ring of Honor and Impact and the other New Japan on the show. But AEW needs to build their identity first. We need to know who's AEW first before we have synergy and partnerships and all that. Unless AEW and Tony Khan has more money than I think he does and just buys up TNA and Ring of Honor as it is, and then everybody's on that show. I just don't see that happening right now. So I'm not really sure about them.
And you're right. We do want them to have their own identity because we don't want them to feel like we want them to feel like their own organization, not just another super promotion that's feeding off of one another, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because WWE I put it at one level, then I know this sounds messed up, but then I have like a level of like super promotions, and it's different all around the world. Listen, New Japan Pro is bigger in Japan than WWE. Just accept that. It's just how it works. But over here, it's not. You know what I mean? They're still looked at as like a super promotion, and I know that's a terrible analogy, guys, and I'm so sorry, but it's just the easiest way I could put it. But I wouldn't want them being felt like, and nothing that there's anything wrong with that, but with they're trying to make it a bigger. I was going to use the term impact, but they're trying to make a bigger splash in the wrestling, in the pro wrestling world. So I would rather them kind of work out the kinks and have a couple flop matches here and there, whatever, until they figure out who they are versus getting filler just for the sake of getting filler. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree. Young Bucks against Lucha Brothers.
I actually think the Lucha Bros get it.
Me too. The Lucha Bros are not the champions, though. The Young Bucks are right now. So.
Right. Well, they retain that. I should have said, yeah. I guess that's the easiest way I should have said that. But I actually feel like there might be some interference in this match. If Marty came back, I felt like this was the match that he was going to interfere in. Or I shouldn't say came back, I remember came over.
Here's the thing, though. I was watching the little special they put up on their YouTube channel, like before the bell. I guess it's the thing that's going to be airing on certain pay-per-view platforms before the show comes on. It's just like kind of like it was in the Action Era where you had those like hour-long specials just talking and promos. You know that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They had one with Jericho, and he's like, I have to win this match. I have to win this match. Yada, yada, yada. I have to win this match. He said, AEW needs me to win this match. Would that be in the match where somebody comes in and interferes against Jericho?
Yeah, I would feel like that's where you would bring in Moxley. That's where Mox would come in. If they signed him, it would be because listen, you know that my fanboy love right now for Marty Scurll is out of the stratosphere. But I don't think he's but see, this is a different crowd though too. I was going to say, I don't know if you would implement him right in there. Like I feel like a Moxley and again, the pipe dream, like a CM Punk, you know what I mean? Like it would be, I feel like it would be a big name that would interfere in that match. The only way anybody interferes. So I feel like the only way somebody gets in with Jericho and Omega is if it's Moxley.
Right. I'm going with the Lucha Brothers as well as far as the tag match is concerned. I'm very excited for that match. That should be a barn burner.
Be a good match.
I'm very disappointed that Hangman Page and Neville is not happening on the pay-per-view on Sunday.
It's not?
They already taped it in a different promotion. I forgot what it was, but supposedly Pac had creative issues as far as how the thing was going to go down on the pay-per-view, so he decided that he's not going to perform at Double or Nothing, so they decided to have the match over the weekend. And I didn't get to see it yet, but it's just an unfortunate situation to have that happen before the first show. I think that's kind of ridiculous because that was a big match that a lot of people were looking forward to. I know both of us were looking forward to that match as well.
Wait, so I've been getting into full gear shape. I've been getting big, but staying small for nothing?
Yeah. I'm sorry, brother.
You know, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with Roman Reigns. That's how the anti-WWE marks sound. Thank you very much. No, you know what, this does bum me out though, and regardless, I'm not slighting anybody on this one because who the hell knows what really happened. I mean, we're not in any locker rooms or in any business dealings. It's none of us to judge, but definitely disappointed, man. Okay, all kidding aside, I have no business liking Hangman Adam Page. I typically don't like country gimmicks. I definitely don't like cowboys. You know what I mean? But there's something like even his entrance I get down to. Like, it's like there's just something about it. It's like it gets me fired up for his matches. You know, there's something about I don't know, just the way he carries himself and the promos and the stuff he does on Being the Elite that I've become a really big Hangman Page fan. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing, man. I was looking forward to that.
I got one surprise that could run in this next match that we're going to talk about, and that's Cody Rhodes against Dustin Rhodes. Brother versus brother. I have a feeling that Ted DiBiase Jr. is going to show up on Saturday and help Cody win that match.
That'd be nice. I mean,
Here's the thing, though.
in every match.
I love Cody and everything he's done, like promo-wise, and he's had a lot of good matches on the indies since he's left WWE. But a lot of things, especially during his run with Ring of Honor, there were a lot of shenanigans in a lot of his matches. The guy that everybody in the bubble thinks that is anti-WWE has added a lot of sports entertainment elements to a lot of his matches. Even the match he had with Magnus at All In last year. There were shenanigans in that match too.
What about MJF? I mean, because he's not booked, or is he booked? He's in the Battle Royal.
He's in the Battle Royal. Hopefully it's not Sammy Guevara.
Sammy G. I actually kind of the last promo he had or whatever on Being the Elite, I actually liked for whatever. I don't know why. That's the first one with Sammy G that I dug. So give it time, and then maybe that's why I always say let stuff breathe for a while because you never know what can happen. I'll still probably hate his character, but he's growing on me.
Personally, I think it'd be just a little predictable to have Brandi cost Dustin the match. So I think having Ted, his old tag team partner, coming in, even if it's a one-shot thing, that'd be an idea out of the box. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think either way, Cody Rhodes does defeat Goldust.
This is one that I would actually prefer there no be interference. Almost like this is a family thing, and it's the first time that they've been able to do it outside of WWE's handle. Not that that's a bad thing, but they can tell a story of their own. You know what I mean? They could do Bret Owen. They could do, but again, like their own way in a way. So I know this sounds crazy. I would actually put Dustin over. I would have Dustin win, and just almost because I think we're looking at a lot of these matches really thinking like, okay, because of championships, we're programmed to think characters have to go this way or that way or whatever. But at the same time, realizing wins and losses don't matter. I think this is one where, because it's that, I don't want to say feel good match, but it's the brother versus brother match that, again, outside of WWE bubble for the first time, it doesn't matter who wins, and it would almost be a tip. I think it would do more, not do more. It wouldn't do. It would just be a nice way to tip your hat to Dustin and everything he's done for the wrestling industry over the past 25 plus years. So yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
One last match before we move on to the next topic here. Let's get into Omega and Jericho Part Dos. So here's the thing: Double or Nothing. They're having the winner of the Battle Royal fight the winner of Jericho and Omega to crown the first AEW World Champion. So that's what's going down here. So basically, you got qualifying matches in the pre-show and the main event of the show. So that's what we're working with here.
So now, what are those two matches again?
The winner of the Casino Battle Royal will fight the winner of Jericho and Omega for the AEW World Title at a later date.
Oh, okay. So they could have somebody big then. Okay. See, I didn't know that. That changes the game then. Okay. So Ambrose could be your Joker. Okay. I'm sorry, John Moxley.
Yeah. I hope they put out the info as far as like what grouping they are as far as Spades, Hearts, and the Joker, this and that, because they're adding all these extra elements to the Battle Royal. I'm confused. I don't know how to like write it down. I mean, I could just write down the order of eliminations, but as far as like transcribing the Battle Royal, I don't know like what grouping there is. It's weird. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's been explained enough as far as how that Battle Royal is actually going to work.
Yeah, I don't really know enough about even how, but that's actually in a way I'm kind of looking forward to that, just to see the unpredictability and see kind of what goes on with it that way. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Double or Nothing coming up this Saturday, live on pay-per-view. That good old $60 with tax. Get on it, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm very excited for it. There's a lot of hype that's been going on in the show, and I've been kind of the guy to be like pump the brakes and this and that. It's never had a context of me not being excited for AEW or what they're gonna do. I spend a lot of time and sometimes too much time over the weekends covering other non-WWE promotions, and I want this to succeed just like everybody else does. But I'm not going to go into the show with preconceived notions, guys. With every wrestling show I watch, I'm just giving it a blank space. Show me what you got. That's the only way I'm looking at Double or Nothing this Saturday. Just show me what you got, and we'll go from there. So I'm excited for the pay-per-view on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just fired up that there's a pay-per-view this weekend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want to. That's where. And again, I'm not building it up that it's going to be the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever or anything like that. I'm just going in excited about the card, about some of the possibilities that could happen. If they don't happen, it's not. Again, there's no. I'm just very intrigued to see the beginning of what could be something special.
Right. What did you enjoy from Money in the Bank on Sunday? We don't have to break down the entire pay-per-view.
Oh, dude, Lesnar was the best, hands down.
Should we start with that?
What's that?
Should we start with that?
I mean, yeah, because when he was just sitting at the top of the ladder, just going, guess who's back? It was like, the greatest troll job ever. And I know that people are upset about it, and I also wanted Ali to pull the briefcase down. But as soon as that music hit, let's face it, all of us kind of stopped and was like, what? Like, I wasn't expecting it,
I'll say this, though, before we get to the Brock part, I do want to give a lot of praise to a lot of the guys that are in that particular men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Finn Balor is a lunatic.
Yeah, he's got issues. We were talking about that after the show was over.
He is a maniac.
It was one of the best ladder matches I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, agreed.
It was that good. There was a lot of spots, and you get a lot of spots with Money in the Bank ladder matches, but I thought there was just good timing spots, and effective spots in a way. I thought Baron Corbin did a very good job in that match.
Agreed.
Especially when Ricochet was trying to do the suicide dive, and then he did deep six on the floor. He's being the spot picker in the match and turning his back on McIntyre. McIntyre had another good outing in the Money in the Bank ladder match too. He hip tossed Ricochet through that ladder bridge from the apron to the announce table, which was nasty. We mentioned Finn Balor. He got messed up, man. He had like a 2-minute like momentum thing, like you would if you get a hot tag in a tag team match, and then he just got his ass whooped the rest of the match.
It was that boy. I'll tell you what. He earned his paycheck that night. He earned it.
Yeah.
He earned it.
Andrade doing the Canadian Destroyer on a ladder. Man,
there was a lot of good stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff going on.
So I think some people were expecting me to go off this week because of my stance and running stance on Brock Lesnar going into WrestleMania this year. I made it a point during our prediction segment with AJ at WrestleMania that this had to be the time where Brock loses the title. And when I heard the music, I wouldn't say I was shocked. The only reason I'm saying that is because when they did the last promotion for Super Showdown, they did not announce a match for the Universal title on that show. And I was like, either this dude's popping up tomorrow or he's going to be the guy who replaced Sami Zayn, because they had that thread towards the beginning of the show. Braun Strowman's looking to go after Sami Zayn because he cost him the spot in the ladder match. Zayn is dangling up in the air in the backstage area. Triple H bans Braun Strowman from the arena. So everybody's like, "Oh, what the hell's going to go on now? Who's going to replace Sami Zayn?" And then here comes the Beast. I wasn't upset. I didn't throw my TV I didn't throw my remote at the TV like a lunatic, like most of these idiots do on YouTube these days. I don't know if they do that for clicks or they're just that stupid to throw. Yeah, probably both.
Definitely both.
I wasn't upset. I actually thought they played it off really well. Actually, it just how like shocked and upset that Michael Cole was, like, what the hell's he doing here? Yada yada yada, stuff like that. You were mentioning earlier the look on his face when he was at the top of the ladder was pretty funny too.
It was great. I love this Brock Lesnar. Him dancing on Monday Night Raw was the greatest. It reminded me back with his like feud with Eddie Guerrero. And I did see the one. I forget what it was. Like what was Brock listening to? Like it was a boombox.
Right.
But that was so great to me. I don't know why. I love this Brock Lesnar. I want to say I want more of it, but we have limited appearances with him. But I think that makes the Money in the Bank briefcase actually even more effective. But go ahead, Josh.
There's a lot of videos of different songs Brock was bobbing his head to with the boombox. They had what's the name of that Beach Boys song? Brass Monkey. There you go. Yeah,
by Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys.
It's a funky monkey, man. Mm-hmm. No, so that okay. So Brock stood out to me. I think we kind of all felt Bayley cashing in a weird way. I don't know. And you know what? And here's the one thing that I want to say to all the people that are insinuating and insisting, including myself for a minute, that was an intentional shot at Sasha Banks. You know, I was thinking about it more. For all the hell we know, this is a giant work from the very beginning, and Sasha comes in and just starts beating the hell out of Bayley. You know what I mean? Like we really don't know. Sure, I mean, reports are saying that Sasha's this, Sasha's that, but reports are always saying whatever they want to say. If this might have been the greatest way to, you know, I mean, no matter what she does, whether it stays or goes, this to be fair and just to be honest, I think has been the best thing for Sasha Banks, because it's almost vilified her fairly or unfairly in a way that when she comes back, wherever she comes back, I hope she comes back to WWE, because it's almost like she's coming back as an instant heel. And then you already have an organic feud with Bayley anyway. So boom, there you go. You know what I mean? I just think, you know, I don't know. I just that's where my thought process was with that. But we talked about this last week on the show. Like my logic was, if they weren't going to run with like the whole Becky Two Belts thing for a while, and remember, she kind of got in because of fans' momentum. They wanted Charlotte to have I'm guessing, have the title at WrestleMania, so they just kind of corrected that aspect of it. You know what I mean? That's all that it was.
I thought they just played off all of that perfectly. I thought the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was fun. I thought Ember Moon did a lot of cool spots in that match. Brandi Rhodes and Carmella are doing good back and forth stuff. And then when it came to what went down with Becky, Lacey Evans. By the way, she was smoking hot on Sunday. I'm just throwing it out there. Lacey Evans, holy shit! And then Becky, and then Charlotte. I just thought they played it off well. Both of the matches, I thought Lacey did well in her match with Becky, the first one, and then Charlotte coming in with the arrogant attitude, like, you ain't going nowhere. It's my time. You gotta get ready for this second match, and that's how it was going to go out either way. And then the best part about it was the crowd reaction to Bayley cashing in the briefcase. I know it happens all the time when people cash in the briefcase, but there seemed to be genuine excitement for her.
Agreed. Absolutely.
For that to happen. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It was very reminiscent too of the night that Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns and then Dean Ambrose cashed in. They kind of had all three Shield members in the same night hold a championship. They did the same thing with the remaining horsewomen. See what I mean?
You know what's interesting about that? That Money in the Bank pay-per-view was in Vegas too, actually.
Well, how about that?
Yep.
There you go.
So that was a big part of the show too. I want to say this though, and I know that Money in the Bank was in Hartford, Connecticut. It's not one of the loudest wrestling towns or whatever, but I felt bad for Tony Nese and Ari Daivari because I thought they had a really good match, and they gave them more time than I actually thought they were going to do on the main pay-per-view. And I thought they did a very good job of their match.
Sure.
And that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, why don't you put the 205 Live guys on the main shows at SummerSlam or SummerSlam? Well, you guys are sitting on your hands, not giving the guys a chance.
Yeah, that's exactly why they're not doing it.
It sucks, but something that did not suck though was AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. There was no shenanigans, there's no DQs or anything like that. Just a straight up barn burner from both of these guys.
Great match.
It was a sick match.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was. I mean, Listen, you're gonna listen to. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably listen to a million of them, and you saw the match. I'm not gonna try and analyze or break this down. It was just fantastic.
I thought Kofi and Kevin Owens was pretty good too, though.
Absolutely. And I like how they're using Sami Zayn right now. Like, even though he didn't officially, end up in Money in the Bank. Everyone always says, well, you lose momentum. They're going to lose. I actually think it helped him in a way. Right. I think it helped add on to the character that he's going with right now. So I actually even looked at that as a positive too. I thought Money in the Bank was really, really good this year.
Right. So a lot of the thing is like that because some people didn't get to finish, they wanted the Money in the Bank ladder match. That's a representation on the whole pay-per-view. And I never understood that logic that one decision didn't go your way, so that means the rest of the pay-per-view sucked. You know where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's even
But here's the thing, though. The reaction that everybody had, that angry disdain and everybody in the arena, because, love it or hate it, that's a crowd that everyone was on their feet, booing, cheering, whatever they were doing. Nobody could, that's why WWE is WWE. You know what I mean? That's why Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. That's why they keep bringing him back, because whether you want to love it or hate it, or and we all go through phases with the Lesnar character, he's still a draw, and he's always going to be a draw, and he's forever going to be a draw. And especially when they can manipulate the in the bubble fans, with Brock Lesnar, he is the proverbial double-edged sword. You know what I mean? He is an attraction, and he's an attraction that for some reason really gets under the skin of the wrestling fan that should really appreciate him, to be honest. I mean, this is an athlete that this is a once in a lifetime kind of athlete. It really is. And regardless of the treatment that he gets or how much he's there or whatever, the dude's a freak of nature. I mean, let's call it like it is.
The funny thing about this is that a lot of those people that were moaning on Sunday fantasy booked that same scenario like a couple years ago when Brock wasn't the champion.
Right.
I think it was after the WrestleMania he fought Dean Ambrose. He's like, why don't you just have Brock Lesnar come out towards the end of the Money in the Bank and just lay out everybody and grab the briefcase? While Brock didn't lay out everybody, he did actually come out and take the briefcase.
See, there was something a couple years ago that I actually thought would be a cool idea, and I said it on one of the shows, but and of course it was because I'm partial Mark too, but I always thought it would be cool for Jericho to win Money in the Bank, and then when he'd go on tour with Fozzy and stuff like that, and disappear and stuff like that, it would have added that extra layer of realism to it. Of not only could he cash it in whenever, but he's probably not even going to be here tonight, or wait, is he going to be here tonight, or no, he's on tour, or well, there's no way that you start to play a guessing game with it to where it adds a little bit extra layer of suspense. Plus, you forget about the briefcase for a while sometimes, and that's a good thing because then when a potential cash in happens, then there's the excitement comes back. And and obviously they didn't do it with Jericho back then, but I feel the same about Lesnar. So I'm just because it's a different person, I'm not going to change my opinion on it. I actually like the fact now that the briefcase isn't going to be on every show. I like the fact that they can tease it more and more. I like the fact that it's not going to be as predictable and literally can come at any show, anywhere, anytime. And I do like the fact that they pointed out that he could go to SmackDown or to Raw, because I think the smartest time for him to cash in would probably be right around the time SmackDown goes to Fox.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just tossing that out there.
Yeah, I could totally see that going down, brother. One last thing before we go into Raw and SmackDown this week, we do have Super Showdown coming up in 2 weeks. We already got like 7 or 8 matches already announced. We talked a little bit about it last week, but the big marquee matches: Triple H and Randy Orton, Goldberg and Undertaker. We got another 50-man battle royal. They announced this week they're doing Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon and Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston for the WWE title. Let's start off with that. Actually, what did you think? I don't know if you got to see the whole segment or the promo this week, but what did you think about what they did with Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston this week?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked Ziggler's promo. I liked how he went back out there and cut the promo that way to top of the stage. It was cool. It's totally cool. I dug it. And it makes sense if the whatever is true about, certain people not going. And I understand. I'm conflicted about this event as well. We've talked about it ad nauseum. So, no, but as far as the Ziggler side of things go, I thought it was cool.
There's a lot of silver lining behind that promo Ziggler cut because a lot he said made sense, and it really hit home to where he was in his career. And Kofi and Ziggler literally were single stars at the same time. They had a really good mid-card rivalry back then where they fought on like 8 pay-per-views in a row over the IC and US title. They had a big rivalry with each other back then before these guys even had opportunities at the world title. And both of them had similar careers before Kofi became a WWE champion. Now, Ziggler never really had the opportunity to be a tag team guy like Kofi did. But you can see a lot of parallels with both those guys' careers. And I thought that was the best part of that promo because it really hit a lot of reality and where Dolph Ziggler was in his career, and I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool. And obviously that's what another work shoot, but I think it was awesome. Anytime it gets the internet talking, which it will, and again, it sets something up for because they are then going to wrestle it in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it sets a match up. Wouldn't expect a title change or anything like that, but it does set up at least, it does set up a match for Kofi. So,
let's see what else I was going to mention really quick. I remember this as a kid growing up watching wrestling. You would have here's the thing, like they were like making the promotions for SmackDown going to Fox and stuff this fall. They're actually doing the 20th anniversary of SmackDown show, the debut episode of SmackDown on Fox this fall. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm just thinking about it. We're here we are, 20 years of actual SmackDown shows. It's just insane, man.
Wowie. I love that was a chant at Money in the Bank, by the way.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That was excellent. Well placed.
Before we get towards the end of the show, I wanted to mention some matches this week outside WWE, and NXT UK I wanted to bring up. Michael Elgin and Rich Swann from Impact was this week was really, really good. Really good match. Enjoyed seeing Walter and Pete Dunne Part 2 with the UK crowd in the background. A very fun audience in Glasgow, Scotland this week on NXT UK. They had their rematch. Walter is now a bad guy, and he has Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel, the European Union tag team I mentioned before. They're running mates now. So Walter has his own group now in NXT UK. And another good match from that show was Nolan Dar against Mark Andrews. And then one of my favorite matches this week from all the shows was Undisputed Era, or if you call them Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly against Matt Riddle and Johnny Gargano. I got to watch that match earlier on today. That match was really, really good. So if you guys want to see some good wrestling matches, those are the ones to definitely check out. All right, brother. Anything else from this week, Raw or SmackDown you want to bring up? I know we got to get to the 24/7 title.
Let me see. Oh yeah, just real quick. This has nothing to do with anything really. I just wrote this down just because I always keep meaning to bring it up and I don't. You know what? I'm keeping with a Pittsburgh theme. Yo, I love Elias's high knee. It's so great. It's so smooth. It's I'm a big fan of the high knee, and I get upset when people don't use it right, and I just enjoy his so much. That has nothing to do with anything. Just tossing that out there. Let's get to the 24/7 title. Had nothing to do with anything other than I was like, you know what? I keep forgetting to bring this up, and boom, there we go. It's always just been a long day, man. I'm exhausted.
Right. My thoughts, really quick, on the 24/7 title is this: those fans that wanted guys like EC3 or Robert Roode or the other guys to have an opportunity to be on the show instead of having catering, you got something for them to do now. So that's my positive takeaway about it. I don't know why everybody is an expert now on what titles are supposed to look like. I'm not saying that the title looks good or horrible or bad or anything. That I'm not even going to get into that right now. But I mean, AJ brought up the good point at the beginning of the show. Like, basically, the hardcore title was scraps of the original WWF title. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So it's not really saying much of what the design is.
I'll admit I was never the biggest fan of the Hardcore Championship anyway. I looked at it what it was for, and that was for comedic. I don't want to say filler because that makes it sound bad, but it was comedy. It was, a little comedic relief, a little bit of just, lampooning, a little bit of stuff to like cool down period for the crowd, or, laughter, different things like that. I think it's going to be about the same. I'm the same. I'm not going to jump to any kind of hyper reaction on the title or what they're going to do with it, if it's right or wrong. Or, I mean, they've had it for 2 shows, So I'm going to let them, let it play out with this for a little while and see, but I'll admit, here's the thing though. Sometimes the 24, when it was the Hardcore Championship and it was the 24/7 title, or, I'll admit there was a lot of times where it was like, whatever, this is kind of dumb. But then there were times where it was like really, really entertaining. So we just kind of got to let it play out a little bit. It's not something I'm going to go crazy one way or the other for. I do think that there was just, like we talked before the show. I think that I think the execution might have been all wrong. And this isn't me, it's just it felt, just watching it, it felt clunky because, they made a bit, we all kind of missed the announcement really that like the last hour of Raw is going to be a little edgier, a little more raw. Like, they're, even like we talked about this, Josh, before we taped, like the lighting was different, stuff like that. Maybe they should have led with that and then unveiled the title, or an explanation about how the title could be won could have been better instead of just saying, we're going to have a scramble and just throwing the title in the ring. Cause there was like an uncomfortable pause of, all right, well, where do we go from here? Right. I think for certain viewers and maybe, people there. So, that's my only real criticisms of it. I just think it was the execution maybe could have been a little bit better initially, but, we're going to forget about that in a month. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I think that, and I think sometimes they know that too. So, if anything, it'll be on Edge and Christian season 12. They'll look back, laugh at it, we'll mock it, we'll all laugh, get a good chuckle out of it. And then, if that's the worst thing that happens, that's still pretty damn good, So
Right.
I'm just, let's let it play out for a while and see what goes on. And that's me also, by the way, hoping that there's like an Edge and Christian season 12. I'd like to already make sure that everybody noticed that too. Right. I should have said 13 because it's my number, and I botched my own thing. Told you I'm exhausted here today, Josh.
Don't worry, we're gonna let Adam relax for the rest of the night pretty soon. We're gonna wrap up in a couple minutes. As far as the 24/7 title is concerned, I have different ideas where this could go, this and that. Like this. If you wanted to make it serious, you get something where like Braun Strowman wins the title and nobody wants to run up or try to attack him from behind. And, the whole thing with Braun is the only time he gets reactions from the crowd when he's chasing people around the arena and stuff, right? Like Braun Strowman's the perfect guy for the 24/7 title, at least in my opinion. Not that he has to have the most reigns or whatever, but I'm very curious, man. Who's going to be that one character that just wins it like 5 or 10 times,
It'll be right.
Like what
should be Nikki Cross.
Like what R-Truth is doing right now is fantastic.
And to slip this in late, I do like what they're doing with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and the potential of what could be coming forward with them too, because it's a funny counterbalance of one personality and another personality of like strange bedfellows as they call it, but I think it has potential to play out into something comedic and with a really good match, pay off towards the end of it.
Right. And here's my thing. I know women can be part of this whole scenario too, which is cool.
Yes.
All the superstars are eligible to win this title. So I know you wanted to see Carmella win the title this week.
I would have loved to have seen a roll up R-Truth. It would have been hysterical.
Yeah. I love how like Giddy Graves was like, come on, we gotta get ready. I think Renee is like, hey Cole, put your orange singlet on.
Yeah, right. I would have loved for Graves to get down there. The savior of misbehavior would have been back in full effect.
Right. Watch Byron Saxon be the first announcer. Or Greg Hamilton.
What about Michael Cole? I'd love for Michael Cole to have it. Just the fans would just get so mad, and that's what. Or at this point, would they pop for Cole? I almost think at this point they'd pop. I don't know. I don't know what would happen.
So
it'd be fun. It'd be a fun experiment.
What if Nigel McGuinness won it?
Yeah, right.
I want Mauro Ranallo just to win it in this month because we only have like a week and a half left before Mental Health Awareness Month is over with.
Right, so yeah, exactly.
You gotta give him a title.
You can put him on him for a minute or two.
Right. All right, so really quick, other stuff from Raw and SmackDown this week that caught my eye personally. I really enjoyed the Usos and a Revival tag team match from Raw this week. We saw what went down with Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and Kofi Kingston. Brock's going to make up his mind next week as far as what title he's going to go after, so we'll see what happens with that. I like the match that Roman had with Elias on SmackDown on Tuesday. I thought it was a good match. Andrade Cien Almas and Ali had another good match on SmackDown this week. That was a good one. And then other things like promo-wise or anything like that, trying to remember who really stood out. Like I did enjoy that Moment of Bliss segment you were talking about a couple minutes ago. Her and Nikki Cross are doing some good stuff together. Iconics are doing their best to do Mean Girls each week, and I think it's good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic. I like the Iconics. So there's just some good stuff going on. And would anybody be interested in a Bayley Becky Lynch rivalry if Becky's one of the wild cards in this wild card rule? I wouldn't mind that, but we'll see what happens. I'll just say this right now: Bray Wyatt and Lacey Evans are my favorite things to watch on TV each week. So.
Bray's thing this week was different. I liked that it was different. It wasn't as what we've been getting. Congrats to them to Bray and JoJo. Yep. Not that anyone listens to this anyway, but it's like whatever. But no, but you know what? I do like that they keep going darker and darker, and this one, I keep saying like this segment always has a different feel than the rest of the show. now's where we're kind of starting to blend it into the show. You know what I mean? Like this really felt like, okay. And it was even creepier, you know, and it was less Bray, more aesthetics. And in a way it was a little bit creepier to where you were expecting a little more and it left you wanting more, which is exactly what they want to do with these segments every week.
Was there anything entertainment-wise you wanted to bring up this week, good brother?
Not really. It's been so busy, man. There was something I'm sure I wanted to talk about and then just whatever, just forgot. I just remembered last night to write a couple things down. It was a busy week.
Oh, you got the dad life going on right now, man.
Oh, it's crazy.
Pretty cool.
Crazy.
Again, folks, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast each week. You guys are doing an awesome job. Anchor reached out to us, and they had this thing now where different sponsors you have on your show now. And now the show's sponsored by Spotify, and that's thanks to all of you guys who've been listening to the show each week. It's freaking awesome, man. It's pretty cool.
That is not our doing. That is everyone that listens to this. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We truly appreciate it.
Jesus.
I recorded the promo thing from Spotify earlier today. You guys will hear it on the podcast this week. Shout out to Brother Carter for the Thoughts Of Dericho segment. Maybe he'll change his music next time he does it, but it was cool to get a little laugh out of that. That was pretty funny. Shout out to AJ, as always, through the eyes of a 9-year-old.
Thoughts with a Canadian predator.
Oh God. Shout out to the entire AEW crew. I hope they have a killer pay-per-view on Saturday.
Excited, man. I'm excited.
It's a big deal for the wrestling business, so I'm excited for that. You guys can check out all my wrestling not articles. I don't do news or anything like that, but if you want to see my transcriptions, you can go check it out, prowrestlingtranscriptions.com. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 4 or 5 star rating and a review. It helps us expand the reach of this show. And thank you guys again for support every single week. You guys are fucking awesome. We love you guys. Enjoy Double or Nothing this Sunday. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. Adam's on Instagram at AdamDaily13. Thank you guys for checking out episode 157 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next week. Later.